What's interesting for me, though, is the fact that music is a relationship. You bond with music. There is no shackling when it comes to music. Music is an expression of helping you break free of whatever mood, whatever stresses, whatever life brings you. But yet, there's these classifications. What I like about what you do as an artist, not only the fact that you creatively do not shackle yourself, as I mentioned before, the fact that you're inspiring this new generation to not only recapture that spirit of adventure, but you're music lovers and you help a younger generation of potential artists see that it can be done to express themselves. This is the question that I'm going to ask you, though. Being that you do come from the Norwegian black metal scene, you have always been ridiculed. You have always been under the microscope. How has that not contaminated you in the creative process? And when you are creating, how has you not being resentful or not having someone praise you? How do you dissect yourself, in other words? Because believe, I know that this might be a difficult question, but we are human.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Someone said, when they tell me I'm overweight, I get very hurt.
Yeah, right. You totally, absolutely. I think the thing is that we take that I think you used the exact word is relation. And it's the same thing as why, some people like other people and then they don't like, other people, and so it's the same with music. So I think when we've been confronted with that, with old fans or something, and then coming up and saying, "Oh, the new album is too melody, or it's too much melody, or you're going in an opposite direction," we never get confrontational about it. I think some people got surprised by that because they're expecting us to be sort of hurtful and want to bite back or whatever. But there's nothing to argument with. Of course, if somebody says, "I don't like your new album," it's like, how can you argue against that? It's like, that's too bad. You like the previous one? Excellent, you have that one. You'll always have that one. The same as us, we like our old stuff, we like the new stuff. That's why we're playing it. And of course, you'd always wish for as many people as possible to listen to it, but you can't argue with their taste, because I think that would be disrespectful to argue with fans. You just gotta accept their opinions, because that's the way we relate to music ourselves. I've been in a situation buying a new album from one of my favorite bands and been disappointed. I'll give it a few more spins, of course, because really good music sometimes is hidden and grows on you. But I never feel like wanting to accuse them of anything. It's just, that's what they do.
Enslaved has been recognized for the extreme musicianship and talent and creative, as we discussed before, the creative journey that you go on and always reinventing yourselves. Another thing that really must be commented is Enslaved is an extreme live band. You're not a studio band. Be that as it may, though, when you're playing live, it's a different relationship. There are people there. It's a live setting. Do you feel that American audiences are able to not only capture the essence of Enslaved, but at the same time absorb the progression of your music? Because your songs are not just a very simple head-banging songs. They're journeys. How do you mesh that, and do you feel American audiences capture that?
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons why American and Canada are so good for us. It's because I have no idea why, but it just seems to be a thing with music that's sort of a little bit out of the ordinary. Where you see European bands like Meshuggah and others doing it a lot better in the States actually than their home territory. I think it seems to be a thing here in the US where people are more actually relating directly to what's happening, while in parts of Europe at least, like the big markets like Germany, it seems to be more of you have a lot of intellectual sort of processing of the experience in between. So you have a relation, you make up your mind if you like it before you see, and then you use the concert or the live setting to sort of confirm what you decided already.
Correct.
While the American audience seems to be a little bit more like, they can even be skeptical, and we've talk to people going there thinking this is going to be like a lo-fi black metal band from Norway, and
Where are they surprised?
yeah, and they just want to see it just to see what it's about, and then they get surprised. But at the moment when they realize this is something I like, they go with that. So that's the thing I like a lot with playing for an American audience. It's sort of it's not over before it's over, so to speak. You have the entire show to sort of convince them that this is worth listening to.
And that must be, in a way, that must be in itself, it must rejuvenate you, because touring is very difficult. Playing a different audience is dealing with the schedule, but when you get up on stage, to see different reactions to what you're doing and different interpretations, that's got to be rewarding, correct? Especially after, what, almost 2 decades of doing this?
Yeah, 25 years next year, actually. So, yeah, that's absolutely a good point. That's what we like also being on these tours where we're constantly almost out of place all the time, like sort of that bit of an underdog sort of motivation. And there's nothing better than playing for a big audience where you feel that you're going to have to convince them, and I think we keep doing that.
You're on tour right now in North America. This is the second date, correct?
Actually, we're on the 10th.
Oh.
Date.
You're going to be traveling to different markets of the United States. You're playing with some amazing bands, very eclectic. One final question. The relationship between the audience and between the band. When you're performing songs, especially the harmonies, do you find it pleasing and pleasurable for you? Because you're not only playing to audiences that want the...
Yeah, it's very refreshing to be on a tour like this, where the focus, like with the other bands and a lot of the fans that's here to see Between the Buried and Me, are like into the melodic side. Because as I spoke about, that is sort of constantly being a little slightly out of place. Like we do extreme metal tours with death metal bands, the audience can be a bit puzzled by the harmonies.
Oh, very.
And now it's sort of the other way around. Yeah. So when we do the things that feel sort of exotic to us, that's sort of the norm. And then you can sort of feels really good to be in that position of being sort of on the edge, on the aggressive side too, when we do that thing. So yeah, I think it's a good recipe for keeping things interesting for such a long time. It's just not became lazy and just do tours that are sort of already, a perfect match to begin with. Have this little bit of an edge and a little bit of a challenge. Tonight's going to be one of them.
Oh, it's a great bill. In Times, make sure you pick up this record on Nuclear Blast. It's an incredible record. One of the things that I really must stress, there are very few bands that can gel the studio recording experience and the creative process and then bring that onto the stage where it really matters. Very few bands of this time can really bring that spirit from way back, the old school period. Enslaved is one of these artists. Make sure you check them out live and also get the record. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
Thank you so much for anything.